thought we would do is just what I thought we'd do is just take a look at the match Bob had, one of his most amazing matches. He was a fantastic player for over 40 years, and he had many wins and losses. But this is one of his greatest wins over the vice world champion Petko Kostadinov. So we're going to take a look game by game. This little commentary by me and Joe. And then after each game, we'll stop and talk about a few things. So let's start right now. Let me know if the volume is. Buy golf clubs, everybody. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we want volume from the recording?
I don't know how to do that.
Who's sharing this? Are you sharing it, Steve?
Yeah, I have it on as high, almost as high as it goes.
Okay. Well, can you hear it? Can you hear it, Steve?
Yeah, I can hear it. It's a little soft, but what can we do?
I can't hear anything.
I personally would rather not hear it. Would rather hear you guys talk about it now. If that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine with me. Is there a way for us to, is there a way for us to make the screen larger? Yeah, that's better. Okay, so all of you know Petko is one of the best players in the world, and Bob was one of the top players in the world for probably 30 years. His game had suffered a little bit in the last 10 years because he had a lot of health issues, and he tended to overlook plays now and then. But for a good period from like the early 80s until probably around 2010 or so, Bob was one of, probably the world's top 30, 40 players, sometimes better than that, maybe top 20 at times, depending on, how much he had played and how strong the competition was. But he was one of the US's best players for many years, and he's number 8 in the all-time ABT points list, and would have been ranked even higher if he could have played in as many tournaments over the last 10 or 15 years, but his health prevented him from playing. He was on dialysis, and to go to play in a tournament, he would have to actually if he was playing in a tournament, no matter whether it was Los Angeles or anywhere else, he would often have to get up at like 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning and go to dialysis and then play backgammon all day. And, when you're not in the greatest health, that's a hell of a commitment. If it had been me, I wouldn't have even considered doing it. But he loved backgammon so much that, he routinely did that. But he couldn't play in as many tournaments because of that. He tended to stick with Las Vegas and LA and San Antonio over his last 10 years or so. But even with that, he was still ranked eighth highest on the ABT list, which is quite an achievement. And he was one hell of a guy. And he's a hell of a competitor, as he'll show in this match. He comes back from down 10-1 to win this match, and that's against one of the best players in the world. He didn't quite play at his top level, but he played well enough to win.
Yeah, there was no give up in Bob.
Yeah, he could be a fierce competitor, no doubt about that. Great guy too, one of the most beloved players in backgammon.
Yeah, he always smiles even when he loses. During this match, I was up 10-0, 10-1, obviously. He kept his cool, he was calm, and a great guy, just always smiles. Very nice.
Yeah, this
So-
particular game here, Bob's got, he's got a deuce 3 back game, but it looks like his timing could go bad, and we'll see how it proceeds.
A deuce 4, and his game was
yeah.
really on the ropes, and Petko's been pretty unlucky at this point for Bob to establish this position. So Bob has a tough choice here, whether to abandon. I think he just abandoned his 22 point and come out here.
That's Petko's move.
Oh, Petko, sorry. I'm looking at the black dice thinking they were the
Yeah, no, I
black.
understand. I would have played 18-3. I don't know what's right, but this is a horrible shake for Bob here. So he's
Hold on
got
one sec.
multiple back game here, but its timing is going to go bad here apparently. Look at that. Jim Pascal would be jealous. So I wrote an article, which is on Gammon Village, and you can access it relatively easily, called How to Defend Against a Back Game. And Petko's doing a great job right here. The idea is to divide and conquer. You're trying to put half your opponent's checkers on one side of the board, half on the other side of the board, and let them crunch, trap them off the high anchor. And that's what Petko's trying to do here. He doesn't mind getting hit. Fours are horrible.
Not only does he
3
mind not getting hit, he wants to be hit if he rolls the 6.
Yeah, there you go. He wants to get, but look at this shake for Bob. He exits and escapes, maintains his 3 anchors, and he could have a chance here. Well, we know he could have a chance.
And this is
And
just a
look at
horrible
this.
shake for Petko.
I know it's like timing. The timing is like actually not hopeless for Bob anymore.
Yeah, because he hasn't buried any checkers yet.
Well,
Bob-
not yet.
Bob probably wants to convert to a 3-4 game if he can. But
Or a
this
2-3.
makes it a 2-3 game. He's going to have to
Yeah.
run with the 6.
I don't remember what he did here, but I think I've definitely run out.
Of course, without a doubt. You
Bob
can't-
has
you
some
can't-
doubt. He's looking
you
at it
can't
for a
play
few
in-
seconds.
Yeah, well, I don't remember what he does here, but I'm pretty sure
Good
he
job,
makes the
Bob.
right play.
Fly it out. Get pointed on. Who cares? Try and remake the 6 point if you can. That's a really bad shot for Petko.
Yep.
But hoping to get hit with a 1-6 or something like that.
Like a really good play by Petko, he's still trying to destroy Bob's timing.
Yeah, but Bob's got he's got a couple of pieces in the outfields, and
What
Petko's
Petko would
got
like to have done is like to be hit with a 1 and come in with like a 6, something that makes his prime.
okay, not horrible. 5-4. I think that's Yeah, with
So
the
now he
6
has-
point open, I don't think I'd do that. Probably just make the ace point.
I don't remember what I did.
Well, it's been 4 years.
Yeah,
I don't remember what I did last week, so you're in better shape than I am. Look at Bob here. Might be able to. Yeah, I think I hit here. Hope to get hit back with an ace or a deuce.
yep.
I mean, maybe this is right. I don't know. I didn't check it out, but but now Petko's sixes could be bad. Oh, this is a pretty good shake.
It's a great shot.
Bob's got a good enough board here. I don't think I'd break the 8 point. I think I just bring a piece in, hope for the best.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what happens. Oh, wow, great shot for Bob. Brings ace down. I got sixes to cover.
Yeah,
It's not the.
good. Now he has good timing.
Oh, look at this shake here from Petko. Wow, this could be tournament here. I guess it won't be, but could have been.
Yeah.
So,
Not exactly the position you want to find yourself in when you're 1 point away from it.
yeah, trailing 10-1. Your opponent's got all their pieces in, no bad numbers. Now look at this, 6-1, perfect. Distribution on
That's
every.
probably a 2-to-1 favorite at least here.
All right, well, you got to do it, Bob. Just make that 6 point. Hope for the best.
Beautiful.
But he's going to have to give up the anchor or the board in the next roll. That's the problem. You can give up the 22 point. That's his best shot, of course. He does. Well, he might have wanted to roll something a little smaller, but looks like
Yeah, he
this plate-
definitely he wanted to stay back with 1 man on the 2022, but now
Right.
he has to go.
Very good.
Even
Very
with,
good.
even with that, he would have preferred to have been pointed on. Because
Oh, look at this shit. This is terrible.
give him extra shots.
So I felt pretty good after
Bob's
that.
got to be down.
I mean, you're
Bob's got
like-
to be down to like he's got to be down to 8 or 10% to win this game now.
Yeah, and
I
then even if he wins the game, it's 10-1.
I could feel the victory and then boom.
Wow, double six is a great roll if you get missed, but I don't think he's going to get missed. Petko.
Bang.
Wow. But Petko's cool. Not showing any emotion.
Keep it going for outfield coverage. He reached for the other checker to create a new builder, then realized it wasn't a new builder.
Right. Remember Bob Honoroff reaching?
Yeah.
No reaching. No
You
reaching.
could never decide if he was on or off.
Until he changed his name. Then he was always on. Also, thanks.
That's a story I can tell at one of the breaks about Bob Glass and I.
That's pretty funny. Thank you to Marianne and WBIF for inviting Joe and I to do this lecture and tribute today.
We thank you as well.
And also, I'd like to thank Bill Rouse, Tara Mendocino, and all the people at Ace Point Backgammon for sharing this video with us, for us to share it with you. Little distribution issues, 5-3. Wow, this was the one this is a play I wasn't sure what to do. Whether to just kill.
Yeah, Peel, you give yourself 4 builders, you get a checker off. The other play is stacking in on the ace. Peeling looks right to me. Of course, you're giving him a number to come in with, but
I'm
I
not
think
sure
you
what's
got
right,
you
but
got such good you got such good distribution. You might be able to keep a 5-point board for a couple more rolls.
Well, all right, let's see what happens. Petko stays out.
Jackie?
That's-
Alice
that's a
was the
bet.
one who said nobody liked.
I just checked the.
That was
the
a bad
file.
shot for
It's
Bob. He wanted
actually
to
right
roll
to play to the ace with that 5-3.
It was right to play to the ace.
Yeah,
That's,
By how
I think that's
much?
what I would have done, but
let's see.
oh, you have the XG from the
Oh,
match?
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Oh, thank you.
It's a big blunder to make his play. It's like 0.219 to take a checker off.
Zero
And
point two one nine.
here is my mistake.
That's
that
only a
cost
big
me-
blunder for you, Petko.
Yeah, so that cost me the match here. I should have played all the way
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
and
Want
that
to make sure
probably
6-4,
cost me the match.
5-4, take a checker off.
Yeah. So sometimes mistakes like this makes the difference.
That's
A
that
brutal
Bob's
shot for
facial
Bob.
expression when he rolls a bad number, like he just drank a glass of sour milk. All right, we'll take a short break here, but we're going to talk a little bit about Bob's history. Well, let's see. Bob was born in Newark, New Jersey, June 10th, 1952. And some point in time, his family moved to Providence, Rhode Island, where he grew up, went to classical high school, and went to Syracuse University, was a great table tennis player. I don't know how highly he was ranked, but he actually told me a story where he played Brian Zembic, the man with $100,000 breasts. Brian was on the Canadian national table tennis team, and they played best of 5. And Bob said that he took Brian all the way to the 5th game and deuce. So Brian only beat him by 2 points. And Brian was on the Canadian national team, so must have meant Bob was pretty darn good, and he was the table tennis
You
player.
look at Bob Glass, you wouldn't think that he would be much of a table tennis player. He was a little clumsy, and often got himself into, odd situations physically, but he had a tremendous backhand and he had unorthodox style. And he'd play, you look at table tennis players, some of them play, 6-8 feet behind the table. Bob never left, like he was always within like 2 feet of the edge of the table, but he could return almost any shot. And his unorthodox style was hard for people that had never played him to cope with. And he beat many players that were, very highly ranked. And he was fair, he was I don't know where he was ranked either, but he was a ranked table tennis player, one of the better players in the Rhode Island area.
I actually, when we were in Cancun, Bob and I went down for the tournament there. We played doubles. We got semifinals, lost to the Malcolm Davis team. But I did beat Bob at a table tennis game, and then I was pretty happy about that. And years later, he says, "Oh, I let you win." Thanks, Bob. Anyway, okay, so some of Bob's backgammon accolades that I searched through Chicago Point yesterday. He came in first to Gammon Associates tournament in 1986. I don't know who he played the finals. He came in first in 1989 Gammon Associates tournament. He then won Brazil, Costa Rica, Indianapolis, Costa Rica in 1995. He was second in Indianapolis to Dave Williams, and he won the Masters in Indianapolis, beating Dave Williams in the finals. So those guys were the players of that time. He won the Pittsburgh Masters, And then in 1997, he beat Doug Mayfield in the finals of Las Vegas tournament. And I had this running joke, which I said with Bob. I said, Bob, you're like the killer bees. You started in Brazil, you moved up through Central America to Costa Rica, you ended up in United States. So that was, I used to call him the killer bee. Anyway, so we're going to move on to the
But before we do that, Steve, why don't we tell a Bobism after every break also?
Yeah, you have a better memory than I do, but I'm happy to hear it. Go ahead.
Okay, so Bob was famous. Bob was my best friend, and we went to like hundreds of sporting events and concerts and movies, and he used to come over to my house 2 or 3 times a week for shuettes, and he'd often stay. The shuettes would end at 6, and he would often stay until midnight or 1 a.m. So we were really best of friends for 30, 40 years. And but Bob had some hilarious stories. He was a very bright guy, almost like an idiot savant in some ways. He'd get himself into the biggest messes, and we used to call them Bobisms. And there are dozens of Bobisms that can be told, but we'll just tell one after each story. The first Bobism I can remember was back during the gas crisis, I think in the early 80s in Los Angeles. There was a gas shortage, and they were rationing off gas, and they eventually went to license plates where you can only get gas on odd number days. But originally what they did was they installed machines that would disperse tokens, and you could only buy $15 worth of gas. And because of that, there were long lines around the gas stations, sometimes stretching blocks. And so Bob and I and a couple of our friends were in Bob's car. Bob grew up in Rhode Island. And in Rhode Island, they pump the gas. It's not self-service. And Bob had not lived in Los Angeles very long. And he would go out of his way to try to find a self-service station because he was really not very mechanical. Not that it takes being very mechanical, but he had a really hard time pumping gas. So we pull into the gas station. Well, we wait in the line for 30, 40 minutes. We get to the pump. When we're at the pump, he goes and he buys his $15 worth of tokens. He puts them in the pump. He goes to pump the gas. He comes, knocks on the window and says to me, I can't get the nozzle in. Can you help me? And I looked over and I said, Bob, that's diesel gas. You have unleaded. So he had to go to the attendant. The attendant came out, unlocked the pump, took the 15 tokens out, handed them to Bob, locked the pump back up, and went back to his booth. Bob gets in his car, pulls up to the next pump, puts the tokens in, tries to pump the gas. He knocks on the window to me, says, it still won't fit. I said, Bob, that's regular gas. You need unleaded. He has to go back to the attendant again. The attendant comes back, unlocks the box, gives him the 15 tokens. And this time, no, I'm sorry. This time he wouldn't trust Bob with the tokens. He actually went up himself, put the 15 tokens in the unleaded pump for Bob. Bob pulls his car up to the unleaded pump. Now he goes to pump the gas. Now he just can't get, even though it's the right nozzle, he just can't get it to work because Bob is awkward with mechanical items.
What?
And he
What are you
he
shouting?
says
Don't
to me,
shout.
I still can't get it to work. I said, go tell the attendant. So Bob goes to tell the attendant, and the attendant actually comes out and pumps the gas for Bob. Whoever's talking, please mute yourself. Anyway, the attendant finally comes out, pumps the gas for Bob. That was one of the first Bobisms I ever experienced, and it was hilarious. We just laughed for, we've had 1,000 laughs over the years from that one.
Good story, Joe. Great story. One of the best. All right, we're on to the next game. Bob trailing, turn that scoreboard. It's now 10-2. Post Crawford, and we're going to see something entertaining here regarding selective cube action. So this is the famous trick score where you want to try and double your opponent out when they should take. They have a free take unless they get gammon more often, but they lose by 2%. But let's just see if Bob doubles here at any point in time.
When you're playing a player of Petko's caliber, though, you're much more likely to trick yourself than to trick them.
Good point, Joe. That's an excellent point. Well, that's a good start for Bob. That's a 3-1 there. Make the 5-point. A little bit of an advantage here, but no seeming market losers at this point, especially if Petko gains an anchor.
I guess he doubled here, maybe. I don't know. Don't remember.
Oh, he could. I think he couldn't make the anchor.
Oh, he didn't double.
Could have missed the roll, lost the market by with the double fours there. But even like 6-1 fan, I don't think it doesn't lose the market, so he's okay to wait here. 3-2. All right, make that anchor. Good play.
No, actually, he should have doubled there because he definitely had market loser. Like a double 6 fan was a market loser.
Right. This was like the last match of the tournament, I think. I think that even the main event had been finished at this time.
Yeah, I think so.
The room looks pretty empty. They're all at the Super Bowl party, I think.
Well, I don't think the room was so empty when it started, but when it became 10-1, that everybody thought it was over.
Yeah, good point. There are some people.
Bob is my best friend, but Petko and I had played earlier and we had hedged, and I had a pretty
Oh,
big bet.
yeah. I remember now.
I had a pretty big bet on Petko. I can't feel too bad because I'm happy for Bob, but I had a pretty big. I think we had a pretty big hedge. I can't remember what it was, but it was like sizable, and I had a pretty big interest in you.
Petko's in great shape here. He's got active builders on all of his points except for the midpoint, which he wants to clear. Bob's got a better board, but yeah. So I didn't agree with this move coming out. He's given up the backboard a little bit. I would have just made the juice point slot of the 4.
Yeah, same here.
So I think Petko played to the ace point. He could have made the deuce, but by sliding to the ace point, he still has 3 active builders to make his 4 point, which seems very reasonable. I like that play.
I just wanted to use the spare on 8 eventually to make the 4.
Right, you have 3 builders to make the 4 point, and the stripped 11 and stripped on 13. You want to just clear.
Exactly.
Okay. I think I like that play. He's still got the checker on the 15 point to guard Petko coming on, but a great shake for Petko. 2-1, he made that 4 point. That's what he wanted to make.
Did I lose this game, Steve?
No. You want it in your dreams. Well, Bob rolls boxes, and all of a sudden the race is relatively close. But he can't run just yet because he had the checker on the 15-point to clear.
He's ahead in the race, I believe.
He's ahead in the race now.
Oh yeah, the cube's still in the middle.
Well, at this score, you shouldn't, with this race, you know, if Bob's gonna wait, he's going to, you know, Petko's gonna have a take down to 3% or something.
True, that's all true.
Still, he's trying to trick one of the greatest players in the United States. It's not exactly the optimal strategy. But he has very little to lose here, for sure. I mean, he has no market losers for, you know, for the next 10 rolls, probably.
Yeah, I made that mistake one time in Chicago in 1999. I was playing Shosen Goku, and I actually got to a point where I had like 3 game-winning numbers. I think it was double 4, 5, and 6, and I didn't roll it. But then Sho says, "Well, why didn't you double?" I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That was horrible."
It's another thing that can happen too. While you're waiting to double, you might forget to double.
Yeah, that's what happened. That is what happened to me in the semifinal match, Chicago. No, quarterfinal, semifinal match, Chicago Open 1999. So it's a little holding game situation here.
I think he just makes his ace point here, right?
I would. But you're out of timing anyway. I mean, he's got two. Petko's got 2 free pieces to
It's not,
play.
I mean, the race is close enough. If you roll a big 6, even if you roll a 6, even if you have to leave a shot, it's not so bad to run.
Yeah, and if Bob has a closed board and Petko has a 5-point board, and if Petko hits him, then it's probably not a
Yeah,
big mistake.
I think this is the wrong idea.
Well, yeah. Well, these are generally
You're
close.
saving a 6, but you're gonna have to burn checkers in the race if you roll one. It's just not that, it's not that far wrong to play better for the race. And if you roll a 6, you leave a shot. I could be wrong, but that's my concept.
Couple ace. The Bob has 1 free 6 to play, and so does Petko. Petko still got the timing advantage. Bob's wasted some pips here. All right, perfect. Like that play a lot. Great roll for Petko. I mean, not great, but not bad. 6-2. Ooh. Well, sometimes you want to stay back and cause them to leave a shot on 6-2, 6-3. But I don't know. That's 3 extra numbers. I'm not sure it's worth it.
6, 6-1, 6-2, and 6-3.
Well, 6-1 leaves a shot anyway, and that's actually what Petko rolled.
I think you just want to minimize shots here.
I think I would too. I don't know. Did you see what it was, Petko?
Let me see if I can.
On the 6-2 for Bob?
Let me see.
Yeah.
You get hit 3 extra shots with staying back, and you get 6 extra shots of which you hit 2 of them. So it looks like a bad trade-off. You're
He
getting
made
2 hits.
He made the right play.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
The other one was like 5% error.
when we did the analysis at the time, I said that I thought Bob's play was wrong, but Bob was correct. I was incorrect. Yeah, the
It's
cube's
about
still
a
in the
3 to
middle.
2. It's a 3 to 2 trade. You get hit 3 extra times, and you hit two times because of making that play. The 3 to 2 is not a good trade for you. But you're much better than 3 to 2 on the non-hits. You're a favorite on the non-hits.
The cube's still in the middle, but now let's try to figure out what kind of market losers we have.
Basically has no market losers.
So now he's fallen back into the right strategy.
Petko looks like a small favorite here. 3-1 hurts his chances somewhat. 7 checkers to 9. There was no market loser there.
He's smiling.
He's smiling, realizing, did I forget about the double? I don't think he ever really had it considering a double other than that early on where he might have rolled double 6s and you dance or something like that. Bob's got that little grin on his face.
Did it freeze on your screens too?
What's going on, Steve?
I don't know. What do you mean?
There we go. Well, we missed something. So we're at 10-4.
So Joe, were there any other accomplishments that you can think of that
Yeah. In 1998, Bob won the he came in second in the Super 32 in Los Angeles. In 1998, he also came in first in Pittsburgh, winning the ABT in Pittsburgh. Again, in 1999, he came in second again in the Super 32 in LA. He won the doubles, not sure the year, but I think it might be the same year. He won the doubles with the Chicago Open with Steve Sachs. He won the Chicago Memorial Masters first place. So he had a pretty nice run in Masters events there. In doubles, he won again, teaming with Steve Sachs to win the Las Vegas doubles. He won first in the Constellation in Michigan 3 consecutive years. Bob did have Bob had a habit of stringing weird things together like that, fantastic accomplishments, winning the Constellation 3 consecutive years.
unbelievable?
It's pretty similar to like winning the main tournament 3 consecutive years. He was the Vic Tour Cup winner 3 times in 2002, 2003, 2014. Vic Tour Cup is a tournament that's been going on off and on with a hiatus for a while since I think the late 50s or early 60s, maybe early 60s, and has some fantastic winners such as Steve Sachs and Barclay Cook won it many times, and I won it once. And it's it's an invitational tournament. It takes place in California. Used to take place in New York, I think, but took place in California for the last couple of decades or more. And that's, I guess we can tell another Bobism. Bob was a tremendous blackjack player. He was a card counter, and he actually made a small fortune over the years playing blackjack. And he worked for his brother's company, and they were business managers for many celebrities and high net individuals, such as Julie Andrews, Blake Edwards,
Supertramp.
Bruce Springsteen at one time, Michael Jackson at one time, just so many 100 different celebrities, maybe more than 100, maybe 200. Anyway, Bob would finish work at like 5 o'clock on Friday, and he would drive right to Burbank Airport, and he would get on a plane and fly. It's only an hour flight to Vegas. He would fly to Vegas, and he would play blackjack. And so one week he finishes work, he drives to Burbank Airport, he gets on the plane. 50 minutes later, they say, we'll be landing in Oakland in 10 minutes. And he says, Oakland? What do you mean Oakland? I was going to Las Vegas. Well, you got on the plane to Oakland, sir. This was Southwest, and they were kind of laissez-faire about making sure people got on the right flights sometimes. And so Bob argues with them, but they directed me to this flight above, so that they end up putting on a flight to Vegas. So he gets there 2 or 3 hours later than expected, and has a good weekend, whatever. Comes back with that story. He tells a story. We laugh. This is another Bob. He is up on the flight to Oakland. So the next week, he finishes work Friday at 5 o'clock. He drives out to Burbank. He gets on the flight to Vegas, and they're taxiing down the runway. He said, ladies and gentlemen, your flight to Oakland is 55 minutes. And he starts screaming, Oakland, not again. I'm going to Oakland. This time he raises a fuss, and they pull the plane back and they let him off. But who else could get on the wrong flight to Oakland 2 weeks in a row, except for Bob Glass?
Great story. All right, now Petko is leading 10-4. It still looks like Bob's going to have to win 6, 8, 10, 3 or 4 games to win. So Petko is still a sizable favorite, over 90%. Let's see. Petko's going to get a glass of water. He'll be back in a moment. Bob looks like he's drinking coffee. I don't know, he likes to drink that coffee. Here comes Petko. Okay, 10-4, post Crawford. Let's see when Bob doubles this time. So it might not be so bad. Normally it's not corrected money, but it's not playing money right now. He's trailing 107 away, post Crawford. Cube's still in the middle. We'll see how long it stays there. It's a good play.
Cool and collected.
Yeah. CCC. What's Bob got here? 5-1. I think I probably slapped the bar. Slap the bar. You don't need to split. I wouldn't do that just because there's fewer covers. What a shake for Bob. Makes the 5-point. Advanced anchor. 13-10. Duplicating aces.
Nice roll and well played.
Great shot for Petko. It's going to be difficult to bring home, but let's see.
I think here was right to make the 4-point.
What's that?
I think here is right to make the 4-point
I would have
instead
made
of
the 4-point
making an
also.
anchor.
Yeah.
I look at the file earlier. I think. it's
Yeah,
right
I
to
think
make
that,
the
I think the 4-point was correct, but I don't think this is very, it can't be that wrong, can it?
No, no, no.
Five, 4. Nice play by Petko, duplicating 4s, giving himself a potential landing
Well, yeah,
spot.
I just don't think he can afford to kill any more checkers.
Yeah, no, it's good. Didn't continue. All right.
So what about a cube here? Do you think he should be cubing here? I do.
You said you do?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's probably not anything or much in the way of any market loss, but I mean, certainly probably not an arrow tonight cube, but I just, so it's a time when you might roll something really good and you don't want to forget to double and you're not going to trick Petko.
It's just another thing to be thinking about. And Petko's doing better on time than Bob, but I'm not sure exactly how much better.
Like Bob's got 7-18 left. He's not in any trouble.
Oh, double 6. What do you like here, Joe?
Who do I like or what do I like with the play?
What double 6? How would you play double 6? That's my play. I don't know if it's correct or not. I would play
Yeah.
the same play.
This is the best play.
Good play, Bob. All right, setting up to make the interior point. Petko's got a free 6 to play, so Bob cannot anticipate getting a shot from this roll, maybe the next roll, but then he'll be prepared when he makes his 3 points. A nice play, Bob. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Five and 2. No, he doubles. Okay, so at least by doubling now, at least you don't forget later. That's for sure.
How do you play this?
I would play 7-6 and 5-2, but I don't know if it's right. That's what Bob did. Bob makes that 5th point in his board. Petko has potential problems here if he rolls a 6. 6 what? Bob has deuces and 9s. So that's 12. 17 numbers, almost a favorite to hit. If he does hit, he might win a gammon. He did hit. Okay.
Actually,
sure.
here, I think the best play was to play from 12, but
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
yeah.
Now, double ace and ace 3 hit, but it's got 3 builders to close the board. Or you could just duplicate aces. I like this play. Maybe not a DMP, but no, DMP I just play with the ace shot. And that's a good roll. Play to the 5. Threes. Interesting. I don't think I'd leave the ace 6 here for the extra builder. Ace 5. All right. Roll 2-1 here. He did roll 2-1.
So he had the right place to hit,
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Petko has to hit back with an ace. Then escape with a 6 ball with the 5 and 4 point being open.
And having
Yeah.
the blots and having the blots out there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gammon could be disappearing here. It is slowly disappearing. 4-3. Now I would have closed the board here. I don't think he did that.
Yeah, he took
Yeah.
12.
Now we close the board in a heartbeat. Still have some gammon chances here. Probably got 10% gammons or something if you close the board. 8%.
Just looking at it. All right, this game is coming to a conclusion here, which will find Bob apparently ahead, trailing 10-6 post Crawford. He still needs to win three games or two if one of them's the gammon. So all right, so
By the way, Bob, if had he closed his board, would have been pretty close to a gammon.
all right. Well, with the score being 10-6, I'm gonna tell you about a few more tournaments that Bob has won over the years. Well, this is a tournament I never played in. It was a Pacific Northwest Championship that was in the Seattle area. And Bob came in second to Stepan Nunez, who in the 3 years that they held the tournament won it all 3 times. And from what I understand, he was new to backgammon, or at least formal tournament play, in the first year that they had it. And they asked him what division he wanted to play, and he says, "Oh, top division." They said, "Are you sure? You're not very experienced." "Oh yeah, I want to play that division." He plays and he wins, and he won 3 years in a row. But Bob came in second to Stepan in 2005. But in the Mount Rainier Cup the same year, Bob played. That was the Masters division. Bob won first place over Hall of Famer Malcolm Davis. In the next year, actually, no, it was also 2005. Bob came in second place to Kit Woolsey in the Las Vegas tournament. He won another double. I think Bob won like 5 doubles tournaments with me over the years, and he won one with Alan Grunwald also. But Bob and I won first place in the doubles in the Indiana Open in 2006. He won first place in Los Angeles Open in 2006. He won first place again, Pittsburgh Grandmaster. Pittsburgh was a great city for Bob as far as tournament wins. Then in 2009, he played all-time ABT point earner Neil Kazaros in the finals of Pittsburgh, and he won again, first place. And the last one I have for this section of the tournament results for Bob: Chicago Open, second place to Chuck Bauer. So it was a lot of first place, some second place. Very formidable results. We move on to the next game.
Let me tell another Bobism here.
Of course. Thank you.
Steve. So as I told you before, Bob was a tremendous blackjack player. He was a fantastic one of the. It could be in the Blackjack Hall of Fame if he's not in the if not in the Backgammon Hall of Fame. He could certainly be in the Blackjack Hall of Fame. And he got barred from most of the casinos in Las Vegas. But so he would go and find a place to play anyway, the ones that he wasn't barred from, and he'd usually get comped to his room and food for the weekend until they figured out that he was a card counter. And he might last at a casino a week, a month, 3 months, but eventually he would get barred. So one weekend, Gus Contos and I were in Las Vegas for business, and we were walking from one casino to another about 2 o'clock in the morning. That same weekend was a Grateful Dead concert and some conventions, and all the hotels in Las Vegas were sold out. And there were, I don't know if people are familiar with Grateful Dead. They're called Deadheads, and they go to concerts, and they're kind of bohemian, wear tie-dye t-shirts, and they have long hair, and they'll like sleep in campers, sleep everywhere, and go to these concerts. So all over the streets of Las Vegas, in the medians, on the grass, on the sidewalk, everywhere, Deadheads were sleeping. And this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And we walked by, we were walking down the strip, and we passed a pawn shop that had a kind of an inset doorway. And I looked over as we walked by, and I said, "That looks a little bit like Bob Glass." And we took another couple of steps, and I did a second look, and I said, "That is Bob Glass." So we went over and he was asleep in a doorway, and I woke him, and he was wet. He was wet all over. And I woke him up and I said, Bob, what are you doing? He said, oh, thank God, you have a room. I said, yes. Can I stay with you? Of course. And I said, what are you doing sleeping in a doorway? He said, well, I came here after work, you know, I flew in, and I played blackjack, you know, and I was tired because I'd been up all day, and I tried to get a room. I couldn't find a room anywhere because the conventions and the Grateful Dead concert. So I went to sleep in the hotel lobby, and security kept waking me up, and finally they kicked me out of the hotel. So I got this great spot right on this grass strip in the middle of Las Vegas Boulevard. And I said I was sleeping really well there, and all of a sudden the sprinklers came on and I got soaked. So I found this spot. So I said, okay, well, come on, you can stay with us. And he was so happy. He got up, he was soaked all over from where the sprinklers had sprayed him. And as soon as he stepped up, one of the deadheads said, man, that's a good spot. You giving it up? And Bob said, yep.
Nice
That's
story, Bill.
another Bob is.
All right. We're on to 10-6 post Crawford.
He's getting closer.
Yeah, getting closer.
Nope.
Anybody seen the same flicker I am?
Yeah. Of course
I
we
wonder
are.
how long this lasts.
Yes.
Not sure what's going on here.
Is this coming? Whose screen is that coming from?
Mine, hold on a second. What, this is 148, 149. Let me see if I can get a different version of the video.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll tell another Bob.
Yeah,
So Bob used to weigh like 350, 60 pounds. And when he got diabetes, got on medication, he lost weight, but he didn't buy new clothes. So his pants never fit. He'd gone down to 240 pounds and he still had pants that were when he weighed 350. So he was always pulling up his pants. He was always holding his pants up. And my wife, Judy, and I would say, Bob, get some suspenders. You know, every place you went, here he is holding his pants up. Go to the ball game, he's walking through the stadium holding his pants up. Go to the theater, he's always holding his pants up. So for years we said, Bob, get some suspenders. It would make your life so much more comfortable. And so finally we just said, you know what, for Christmas, we're going to buy Bob suspenders. So we bought suspenders for him. And then we showed him, we gave him a gift and we showed him how to put them on. And I said, now, took them off and said, now, Bob, do it yourself. And we made a video of it, and it's a hilarious video. He's got the suspenders. He's trying to figure out how to put them on. He has both suspenders over the left shoulder. Then he has both suspenders over the right shoulder. Then one of the suspenders, he's trying to hook it, and it snaps, and it pops him right in the eye. Then he's trying to put him on. Another suspender pops and hits him in the forehead. Finally, we put the suspenders on him for him because he could never figure out how to do it. And he never did figure out how to do it. So what he would do is he would wear the same pants for like 3 days in a row. When he would take his suspender, he had an assistant in his last 5 or 6 years of life who lived with him, and he would put Bob's suspenders on for him. And when Bob took his pants off, he would take the suspenders off and then take the pants off and keep the suspenders on the pants. And the next day he would slip back into the pants and pull the suspenders up. Okay,
Well,
we ready to roll?
I mean, got a problem here as far as this.
You want me to try my computer?
Well, do you have the video?
No, but I mean, I'm sure it's on YouTube, right?
I don't know. It's not. I mean, Jesus, it's pretty bad. All right. Well, this is all screwed up here.
Hold on 1 second, and I'll try and see if I can get it, Steve.
It's kind of difficult to find.
I got it.
Oh, you do got it?
Yeah. Let me see if I,
Okay, so
okay. Where were you at?
about 150, hour and 50 minutes.
The next game starts at 1:48.
140 what?
Thank you.
1:48.
Okay. Okay. I've got it. If you can allow me to share my screen, Marianne.
Yes, you can share it.
I guess we've got advertisements here, though.
Well, they don't. You just skip ads. Click skip ads.
Okay, let's just pick it up here.
That's fine.
Yeah, you're talking about him timing out, but he's still got 4 minutes and 16 seconds, which is an eternity. Great shot for Petko there.
All right. So let's see. What's the race here? 40, 84, 14, 116, 123 for black, 50, 107, 111. So Petko's ahead in the race, and he's got the blockade. He's not doing too badly. Six two. Yeah, just be patient. Bob's out of timing. Petko's not. 5-4. Looks like I just come out with both pieces. Double fives is good anyway. There's 4 indirect shots. Cube's still in the middle. 6-2, almost a joker, not quite. Looks like Bob's got to leave a direct shot of some variation, so he might as well make the 5th point his board and then duplicate 3s. Seems very reasonable.
If he gets hit, it could lead to a gammon win for him.
Yeah, well, Petko's only going to hit if he benefits from it, so Bob has that going for him. Okay, nice play by Petko, slotting, making a new point in his board. Can have the 5th point in his board on the next roll, probably. Bob will have safetied his loose blot by then with a 7 or higher numbers. Oh, unless he rolls ace deuce. Hello. But not too traumatic because Petko's double slotted in his board.
So
probably
here,
I think, yeah, I would play that ace.
I think he should
Yeah.
play to the 8 point.
Really? I would have
Yeah,
I would have played this to duplicate the 2s and give the connection with the 6.
I would have
think
played
right is to go to
8
the
to
8.
5. I can see that. I can see the idea behind that, though.
What is the right play here, Petko?
Going to the 8, and let me see the other one. Ten, 8, 6, 5.
That's what I would have done. The thing is, that you want to take his super joker away from him. If
Well,
he rolls
also the
double
rate,
fives-
also the race is such that Bob might want to stay back with that last checker.
well, like I'm saying, if Petko rolls double 5s, he can't make a clean break for it. So he'd have to hit and cover and leave a shot because he's double slotted in his board. Okay, good roll. Does he want to play it that way, though? He's blocking double deuces, but 6-1
But
and
giving
6-2
himself
leave a
bad
shot.
6-1 and 6 deuce, which he has really no bad numbers here.
Yeah, and Petko's got a free 6 to play, so he can't expect to get a shot on the next roll. So why keep the strip point out there? I like that play. Still has one free 6 to play. 6-4. Okay, they're both running out of timing. 4-3. Not so pleasant. Probably break. I don't know. Break the 5 or the 6. I'm not sure.
I would just break the 6 point here.
I think so. You're leaving a shot on 6-5, but that's only if Bob doesn't leave the 6 first. Roll 6 first.
Well-
Bob doubles. Okay. Can't say it's wrong. Double ace. Well,
So here it's right to play 6-4 and 3-1.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
yeah, you're down in the race, so you want to maintain contact. Also, gammons are one way. Ah. Yeah, well, it worked out temporarily. Ace, okay.
So here
Made
the right play is actually going 11 to 10, leaving 2 blocks.
Oh, wow. How about that? Yeah,
wow.
because you want to. It could have made a big difference too. So 15 numbers versus 14 numbers. We get a shot on 6-3, so could be a close trade-off. I think I'd probably stay back. I don't know.
11 to 10 was probably right by a sizable amount, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Let's see. 7%.
Yeah, I thought so.
ooh, Bob hit, big deal. I'd probably play 6 to 5 here. So you don't leave a double shot on double sixes.
You weren't right to come up with that ace, were you, Petko?
Yeah, I
The
think
18,
so.
17 play, was it? Weren't you supposed to stay back on the 18?
Yeah.
Again, it's that trade-off thing. You're getting 2 extra hits, but you're only getting hit 1 extra time.
Right. Yeah.
So Bob down to 2 minutes and 3 seconds, but with no more than 3 games remaining, should be reasonable. Petko wants to duplicate, so he hopefully doesn't get a second checker hit.
18, 17, 18, 13 was right. Yeah.
Well, 18, 17, 18, 13 was right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Well, I didn't put it on two. Let me see.
Okay, Petko saves the gammon basically by entering and safing the checker hand's game-winning chances. Bob fails to enter or enters without hitting, and Petko pops a 6. Doesn't seem like it's right to banana split here.
Yeah, 18, 17, 18, 13 is right. Was right.
Very good. Bob down to 100 seconds exactly and counting. Petko still with 6:41, plenty of time. Bob does want to make sure he makes the right play here. Comes out. Now you get a shot on 6-5, so that seems like the right play. Direct shot. One, wrong 6. Bob rolls double twos, closing the board. Well, it's like Bob's going to get to at least 10-8 post Crawford, if not a really unlikely gammon to tie the match. All right, not terrible. Bring a checker into the 5 point. Nice distribution. Two and one, okay. Nice and smooth. I like that. You got to be careful not to let your opponent in without taking enough checkers off. Very good roll. I would take a checker off here. Maybe an overplay, but at least if you roll double 5, double 6, you get checkers off. And it's slightly more gammons by taking the extra piece off. All right.
What was right with the 5-3 there, Petko?
Let's see.
Pops up a couple rolls here. Looks like we're going to the next game.
Was he supposed to check a checker off with the 5-3 or break the 6 point?
Break the 6.
That's
How
what I'm-
much?
It's very close.
What about the banana split earlier? I'm pretty sure I would have made it.
Yeah, what was it, the 5-1 from the bar?
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure I would have.
Let me check.
We pause this. Okay.
So what other tournaments did Bob do well in towards the end of his career, about Joe?
Actually, I think you're up, Steve.
No, it's you. You're the last set.
So, okay. Bob was in LA Open. Bob placed second place in 2012 to Howard Markowitz, who I think won both the main and the Masters that year.
And he was sick at the time. He had the flu. It was amazing.
And
He won like 13 matches in a row.
Steve Sachs came in third. Bob Glass beat him in the semifinals. The U.S. Open in 2018, Bob was the consolation winner. LA Open in 2019, LA Open versus Al Hodis. He was
First place
LA
for
Open
Bob.
winner. And then, of course, this tournament, this match that we're watching, he won the Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic, beating Petko. And
Spoiler alert.
this is kind of nice. You know, Bob being my best friend, during the pandemic, I directed 2 online ABT tournaments, Beale Street Blues in 2020 and 2021. In 2020, he won the tournament, finishing in first, beating Arena Litzenberger in the final. And to beat that in 2021, he won the tournament again, coming in first place, beating Steve Sachs in the final. But not only did he win the tournament, he pulled the rare double. He also won the Masters, beating Ergen Bayrock in the final. So Bob considered himself an honorary Memphian. And he loved rock and roll, and he loved Elvis Presley. And he wanted me to hold a live event in Memphis so that he could attend and keep his streak going. But Bob was an amazing individual. Steve, do you have a Bobism to tell us?
Probably none that I could share here. But actually, okay, so the September 2004 Chicago Point, which is online, it's archived online. I wrote an article called "Is the Glass Half Empty or Half Full?" which is about our European adventure in 2004, where we went to Venice and Monte Carlo and Cannes. And by the way, we have in attendance here the 2004 world champion, Peter Hallberg, who defeated Bob Wachtel in the finals. I think I lost in the first round, but anyway, congratulations, Peter. But if you want to read that article, like I said, archived at Chicago Point Online, September 2004. Probably just ready to watch the last game.
So that banana split was 3.8% error. If you are talking about 4-1 from the bar for Bob.
Yeah.
It was an error to not make the banana split.
Yeah. No, I mean, making the banana split was wrong by.
Oh, it's the wrong play. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Rock and roll for the last game.
Steve, Tal has a question.
Oh, please, go ahead.
Tal?
Steve, Steve, I'm sorry. You were talking about the trick play, why Bob is not doubling early on. Can you please elaborate a little bit more? Specifically, I understand when he's playing Petko, but if you're playing, what's his idea if he's playing a lower level player? Thank you.
Okay, the trick is simply you want to get to an intimidating position. So when your opponent is out of way and you're at post Crawford, you're 1 away, or any, 1 away, 3 away, 1 away, 5 away, 1 away, 7 away, so and so post Crawford, you'd like to get that 1 point because the 1 point is worth a full game. All your opponent has then is the free pass in their pocket. So if you can get that 1 point, then that's massively valuable. So what you want to try and do against, and I'd do it against Kit Woolsey, and he'd just like laugh in my face and say, "Who do you think you're doing?" It's, don't worry, Kit. Anyway, so you want to try and get to an intimidating position that under normal circumstances might be a drop, but as long as your opponent, as long as you don't get gammon, your opponent doesn't get gammon more than 2% more, whatever the free pass is worth, then your opponent might find himself say, well, this looks very gammonish, but if they win 35% and they're getting gammon like 20%, they can still take. So if you get to a position that's intimidating enough, you can get to them to drop the free take, which is known as the trick. And I've tried it before, sometimes successfully, sometimes I've waited too long, but it's a viable strategy, when employed properly.
Basically, what you want to do is you want to look and see you're really just looking for gammon situations. When you're trying to employ the trick, you look to say, you don't want to trick yourself. You look and say, if I roll this number and my opponent rolls this, if I roll my best and he rolls his worst, will I be sorry that I've doubled? Will my gammon equity, will my winning chances be so high and my gammon equity be so high that I will have cost myself? If you don't reach that situation, then you can keep playing on, and it often works against weaker players. People are used to passing cubes, when they have 20% chance of winning the game. Well, here they can actually take down to like 3%. So it's against weaker players, you can often wait until you get to be 90% and double them and they'll pass quickly, and that's the idea. But against top-notch players, that's not going to happen. And they're against top-notch players, you're more likely to trick yourself by not having realized that you had a specific joker followed by the worst response by your opponent, and now you will actually lose your market because you may reach a gammonish position that that is correct to pass in. So that's what's called tricking yourself. But it often works against weaker players.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So let's see when Bob doubles this game. I've seen this video a few times, but it's been a little while. Good play at the score. Yeah, you're you need a gammon, your opponent doesn't, so you want to make your inner-board point. Yeah, it's right. It's wrong to split, especially under its score situation. Great roll for Bob. I probably would make the 21 and the 5. I definitely would not hit. So nice play by Bob. I'm presuming that's correct. Want to change your mind, Bob? I don't think this is the right idea. You want to make that inner-board point? Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's kind of an unpleasant roll here, but you don't want to expose yourself to any. Here comes the cube. Okay.
That's the right play. That's the right play.
Nice play. So Bob doubles Petko here. He could roll double fours and Petko could fan and he would lose his market. So Bob did not trick himself in this situation. Good job, Bob. 6-2 for Petko. Yeah. Fairly unpleasant. I don't know how bad is making the bar point there.
Let's see.
Double threes for Petko. Enter, hit, and make the 3 point. Or maybe he makes the advanced anchor here based on the score.
Well,
I would have made
definitely
the
make
3
it-
point, but
I would make the 21 point here in a heartbeat.
that's not what I would do, but I don't know what's right. What's right on the double threes, Petko?
On the second roll,
Right here.
for me.
Yeah, you entered and you hit, and you got two more to play. You can make the 21, the 3, or the 5.
Bar 22, 18, 15, 6, 3, 2.
Yeah, that's what I would have done. How
It's
much?
right by 0.005. So
Well, that's a lot. I mean, come on, seriously.
no. They're close, very close.
I understand. I'm joking.
Uh,
When you get to our level, it's like that's the difference between. Okay, so it's like Petko's looking at making the 3-point. Might make the 21. 5 points definitely wrong. Okay. Petko with well over 5 minutes left and Bob down to under a minute. He might have to play 2 games to win this match here. So if he does, he's going to want to budget his time properly. Good hit by Bob. Petko's probably going to gain a second anchor, but if not, okay, double 4s. Wow, what a smasher for Petko. Enters, makes the 4-point, hits 13-9. Bob's dreams of winning the 2019 Malcolm Davis Longhorn Classic seem to be diminishing, even though he's made an incredible comeback. Petko rolls 5-4. This is a big roll coming up here. Petko should hit loose and make the 8-point. And Bob is going to be under tremendous pressure to roll something good here. Although Bob to ace deuce, good enough. Brings both. Oh, wait a minute, ace deuce. Gentlemen, that Petko is. We are playing legal moves. Come on in with your second checker. Okay. 5-3. Probably like make the 5 and hit loose on the ace. Hope for the best. He does have 4 checkers back, but Bob does not have an imposing board. So Bob still should be a favorite here, but not overwhelming one. Oh my goodness. Ace-6 from the bar to hit both checkers. Yeah. An anchor increases his game-winning chances by a sizable margin and decreases his gammon risk. Let's see, Bob, is he going to keep the checker on the 10-point? I agree with that move. You want to make the outside blocking point if possible. Getting hit is not traumatic. This is not so great, but I come in on the 20 and play 6-2. You've already got the 2 anchors. Even if you get pointer on, it's not that big a deal. You just come back in. See what Bob rolls. Double ace. Oh, crusher. So he makes the 5 naturally. Probably make the 7.
Making the 7 is right here with the second pair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is an unnecessary concern over like 6 checkers back versus 1 back, getting hit, and your Petko's got a blot in his board. So, you know, and especially because gammons pay such a premium that, you know, you want to do all you can. This is interesting. Not sure. That probably was a close one. 6-4. Okay, that's a very good and needed outside blockade point for Bob to make. 5-1, not so good. Interesting choice here. He can make the point, but then if he rolls a 5 that doesn't play out, he's killed a checker. So 6-5 is a possibility. But I think this is correct because if you want to sneak a checker out to the 18-point, you'd rather have the, all right, temporary 5 prime. Moving on through. Okay, great shot for Petko. Still has his nice board. Bob's got outside points to bring in. They're going to be difficult to bring in, but not after an ace deuce. That's
this one, the right place going to the 6 instead of break.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He's
Another good
stacking on
shot.
that 9 points. It's difficult to clear. He wanted to try to enhance his chances to clear the 9 point.
And that might be the role of the match right there. Even though it seems relatively non-dramatic, he's You can bring strips the 9 point and brings spares up into the 6 and 5. So I like this play. Bob doesn't rate to leave a shot on this
Now-
next row.
Now this one is right to play from 9 all the way. Leaving
Oh.
a blot, that's what the
Wow,
bot.
how about that?
No, that's not,
I don't think many people would have found that play though.
no, the bot doesn't like that play. Let's
Okay,
see.
5-4, still maintaining the blockade, but you'd rather have cleared a point.
5% error. The right play was to leave a blot on 9 with 6-1.
Incredible. Okay. I don't even know if Mochi finds that.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah.
3-2. What a shot for Bob. Okay, now Petko's out of timing. He's going to have to break his board or an anchor on the next shake. 2-1. Well, I was wrong. He doesn't have to do either, but he can remake or make the deuce point. Bob with the 2-1. Well, that leaves a double shot. This is a huge match, huge roll here. Roll the match, which Petko hits.
I think I made an error here. Let me see.
Yeah.
I should have come down.
Oh, hit and bring the builder up to cover. Yeah.
I should have. Yeah, it's a 2.6% error, but it's right to go to the 10.
Wow. Superstar shake for Bob there. Very pressure roll came in with. And Petko fan, and now Bob's got it.
It was a gammon
Double
anyway,
shot.
even if I had made the right play.
And look at this. Wow. Well, you're going to be duplicating here, duplicating threes. Link 6-5. Nice play. Another pressure roll here. Petko's got several return shots, but no.
That's the last game.
Another 6-2 from the bar. Okay, Bob hits. Naturally brings the checker in. He's got reasonable gammon chances here. Even though he's got like dead pieces and only a couple of builders, Petko still has a lot of freight to bring around. That's actually a very good roll. Doesn't take a checker off, but it clears that point that's could be relatively difficult to clear. Petko's still not coming in. Still not looking good for Team Bulgaria. 6-3 for Bob. Wow, he's one shake away from potentially getting a gammon position to win the match. Doesn't matter too much how the 3 is played. Okay. Big shake for Bob. Wow, Bob rolls the 5-3. So Petko's gonna have to roll some miracles to get off this gammon here. And 5-4, make as many crossovers as you can. I like that play. A couple big doubles here. Bob's off in 6 rolls. $13 crossovers Petko needs to make. Now he's down to 11 crossovers with 4 rolls, 5 rolls. He needed a couple doubles, big doubles anyway. Anyway, so well, let's wait till this is over here. Got some kind of chance. Petko needs boxes or 5s.
No.
It's off in 3 rolls. Petko, if he rolls boxes or 5s or maybe 4s, he has a chance. There's 2 shakes. Yeah, if he needs to make 2 crossovers right now, he did. So he gives himself one last chance for that miracle double 6s to save the gammon and force DMP. Here comes the last roll.
I want to see Bob's face.
4-1. Bob with a smile. Amazing comeback by Mr. Bob Glass. And he gets a hug from a cheerleader. I think that was Laura Horty or Laura Granger. Yeah, and I wanted to title this Bob's last great victory, but this actually that would have been inappropriate because this was not Bob's last victory. This was in February of 2019, his last live great victory. He actually won the 2019 LA Open, which happened like 3 or 4 months later. So he was a fighter all the way to the end. And, actually the pandemic in a way did him kind of a favor that allowed him to re-enter the backgammon scene as far as, tournament play. And as you can see how he did in Joe's Beale Street Blues tournament, winning 3 out of 4 major events in 2 years. Fantastic. Joe, you want to close with anything?
Just that we all love Bob and his self-deprecating sense of humor. He would do all these Bobisms, but he loved being the center of attention, and he loved people laughing and telling the stories. And he never was embarrassed by the stories. He just enjoyed. He realized that's just who he was, and he lived with it. And he was a hell of a competitor, a hell of a guy. He had a great sense of humor, great appreciation for the arts. We had season tickets to the Pantages and Amundsen for years. He could tell any rock and roll. You could play 3 notes of any rock and roll song recorded between 1950 and 1980, and he could tell you who the artist was and what the name of the song was. He was just a really special human being, and someone that we were lucky to have in our backgammon community. And I'll cherish his memory, and he'll be part of my life forever. And I loved him.
Agreed. Yeah. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining me, Joe. And thanks everybody for watching. So, yeah, the great Bob Glass. He'll be missed. Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Steve, and Joe, and Petko. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining us, Petko. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay. And thank you, Marianne.
Did you really lose that match,
Thank you,
Petko? I
Steve.
had a lot of money riding on that. Thank you.